Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillah. Thumma salatu wa salam ala rasulillah wa ala ahlihi wa sahbihi wa man iqtada bi qudwatihim ila yawmiddin. We thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Tasrif al-Mubtadi, the beginners book for tasrif by our Sheikh. فعل المتعدي said ما يتجاوز من الفاعل. So transitive verbs are defined in Arabic as what a verb that transcends min al-fa'il, from the action doer, as in the action of the action doer, it transcends from the action doer itself. Ila al-maf'ul bihi, it transcends from the action doer to the maf'ul bihi, the object of the verb, the receiver of the action, directly, without anything in between them. I hope we get ma yatajawaz min al-fa'il, what transcends from the action doer ila al-maf'ul bihi, onto the receiver of the action. I hope we get, so without any harf or anything in between them. So nahu, let's see example. So the fi there is just typographical error. So nahu, example: daraba zaidun amran. Daraba zaidun amran. Zaid beats amru. Zaid beats amru. We can see we have treated fine. So what's the fine here? The action, the verb is daraba, meaning to beat. Zaid is the fine, that is the action doer. Amran is the receiver of the action. You can see the action is upon it directly. The action is upon it directly. We can't see any half particle in between them. I hope we get. Now, so wal al-fi'lu lazim. Al-fi'lu al-lazim, intransitive verbs. Ma la yatajawazu. Now, wal fi'lu. So we can see here, he said wal fi'lu, as in the verb here is daraba muta'addin. So meaning it is transitive. It is transitive. Daraba zaidun amran. So wal fi'l is daraba. The fi'l is daraba muta'addin, meaning it is transitive. However, let's note that when we say transitive verbs in Arabic, it's not the same as maybe defining it in English as transitive verbs in English. We'll get there inshallah. So that is that. So al-fi'lu al-lazim. What is fi'lu al-lazim? Meaning intransitive verbs. Verbs that are not transitive in Arabic language. Ma la yatajawazu min al-fa'ili ila al-maf'ul bihi. What does not transcend from the fa'il, meaning the action doer, ila al-maf'ul bihi, to the receiver of the action, or to the object of the verb. Meaning it does not need what we call maf'ul bihi, as we will see very clearly now. It does not need maf'ul bihi. So example, qama zaidun. They say nahu, meaning example, qama zaidun. Zaid stood. You can see we can't see any other thing coming after it, meaning the sentence is complete. Qama zaidun. Zaid stood. It is complete. While fi'l, they now said while fi'lu qama, meaning the verb qama lazimun, it is intransitive because it does not need any other thing for the sentence to be complete. I hope we are together now. So a note has been prepared. We will see now. So now you can see now al-fi'lu al-muta'addi wal-lazim. So generally, so this is just to buttress what has been said now. So in Arabic language, a verb, when we say a verb, yani fi'l, it is either it is muta'addin, meaning it is transitive, or lazim, meaning it is intransitive. I hope you get. A verb is either, so it has to choose either it is either the verb is muta'addin, meaning it is transitive, or it is intransitive. I hope you get. Now, so another point to note here: transitive and intransitive verbs of Arabic language does not follow that of English entirely. So we should be wary of this, so not to confuse both of them. So so we can see Zaidun daraba Zaidun Amron. Zaid beats Amru. You can see we have the fail. It is in bold. So that means that particular verb, it is transitive because the action from the action doer, meaning who is the action doer here? That is Zaid. The action from Zaid transcends onto the maf'ul bihi. What's the maf'ul bihi? The receiver of the action. So that means it is taking nasbu. So we should note when we say something is maf'ul bihi, it has to be taking nasbu or fatha like state. It has to be taking nasbu. So Amru, it is maf'ul bihi because it is in nasbu state. I hope you get. Now another example: Akala Zaidun khubzan. Zaid ate bread. Zaid ate bread. So you can see the verb is what? Akala. Who did the action? Zaid. And who is the receiver of the action? As in what was eaten was khubzan. You can see it is taking nasbu. I hope you get. Now, so these are just some other examples. Sheri Bada with Shayan. You can read more on this. Now, intransitive verbs. Intransitive verbs. These are verbs that do not require maf'ul bihi for it to deliver, for it to get the full meaning of the sentence. So, example: Jalasa aliyun. Jalasa aliyun. Ali sat. It is complete. It is complete. Another example: Qama Anasun. Qama Anasun. Anas stood, or Anas stood. So you can see it is complete. We didn't see any maf'ul bihi because it does not require it. Intransitive verbs will convey the full meaning of the sentence without any maf'ul bihi. It does not require it. So another example. So while you are being told that we should be careful of confusing transitive verbs in English language with Arabic language. See example now. Let's say Nazaratul Labu ila Saburati. The students looked at the board. So you looked at like maybe you are in English, you think that verb translates onto the board, like the board is being looked at. That should be the maf'ul bihi. No, don't confuse it. In Arabic, for a verb to be transitive, the action has to go directly from the fa'il, meaning the action doer, onto the maf'ul bihi, like the receiver of the action, and the receiver of the action has to be taking nasbu. Shaget has to be taking nasbu. So here now we say ila saburati. What's sabura taking? It is taking kasra. It can never be maf'ul bihi. Maf'ul bihi has to be taking nasbu. I hope you get. Has to be taken nasbu. So we have to hold tight onto that. Now, so differentiating. So this actually you need to focus on it very well. So how do we differentiate from a thing that is muta'addi and a thing that is lazim? How do we differentiate? Now, one, a muta'addi verb needs an object to make a complete sentence. It requires maf'ul bihi to make a complete sentence. Why lazim? What is lazim? That is, the verb is intransitive. It does not require it. So example, daraba zaidun. If you say daraba zaidun, for the fact that we said zaid beat, this is wrong. It's not complete. We have to have an object that the action is going to act upon. So it has to be daraba zaidun amron. I hope you get. So jalasa aliyun. This is correct. Why? Because the verb does not require maf'ul bihi to make a complete sentence. Zaid sat, it is complete. I hope you get. Zaid sat is complete, but daraba zaidun is not complete because we need to have a maf'ul bihi, that the action receiver, for it to make a complete sentence. So that's number one. Number two, now, so the lesson note will be sent to the comment section. You should check it later, inshallah. It will be sent there. Now, number two, a muta'addi verb, meaning a transitive verb. So get used to it. Transitive means it is muta'addi, and intransitive means lazim. I hope you get. Now, so a verb that is muta'addi transcends to the object without a particle in between them. You won't see any half in between them, but a lazim cannot. So example is that Daraba Zaidun Amron. You can see we have the fi'l, meaning the muta'addi, that is the fi'l. Then Zaid, that is the action dua. Amron, directly, it is taking nasbu. We can't see any harf in between them. So that means Daraba is a muta'addi verb. I hope you get. Daraba is a muta'addi because we didn't see any harf between the fa'il and the maf'ul bihi. I hope you get. But unlike lazim verb, meaning intransitive verb, for we to see maybe a receiver of an action coming after the fa'il, there has to be a particle in between them. I hope you get. So example is Jalasa Aliyun. We said it is complete, but we now want to bring, let's say we want to say what was sat upon. So you see Jalasa Aliyun Ala al-Kursiji. You see, we have to put Ala. We have to put a particle in between them because Jalasa is a lazim verb. I hope you get. So since there is a harf jar between the action dua and the kursi, that means Jalasa is not a muta'addi verb, rather it is a lazim verb, meaning it is intransitive. Now, so third point, he said a lazim verb makes a complete sentence without transcending, meaning Jalasa Zaidun, it is complete. But when you want to translate, like you want to see what was the action that was done upon something, we have to see an harf jar between them. So it will only increase its completeness in the sense that Jalasa Zaidun, okay, we understood that Zaid sat, but putting Ala al-Kursiji, okay, wow, we now got a more brighter picture. Zaid sat on the chair. Zaid sat on the chair. So that is that. So lastly, let's not confuse what we know from English as transitive and intransitive. We have to look at the construction of the sentence in Arabic for you to know, okay, this is a transitive verb and this is an intransitive verb. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make it easy for us. So please let's try to go through the note when it is sent, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.